Hi, this is Simon from Fingers on Plastic. Let's talk Royal Rumble. Finished watching it a little while ago. And yeah, what a show. So, we've got predictions, we've got points to doll out. Let's start to it. So, kickoff show. So, I'm going to have to refer to my notes because a lot happened. I say my notes I found on the internet. But I did just finish watching it. Sheamus versus Shorty G. As I said in my predictions, I wasn't particularly bothered by this match. It was all right. It serviced its point. It was more competitive than I thought it was going to be. But I really had a problem with the story going into it because it's like an annual crap story. But Sheamus won that. Both me and Mr. Grant, point apiece. Next up was Andrade versus Carrillo. Now, I thought this had the potential of being like match of the night. But I don't know. Maybe they didn't click or anything. It was just, again, it happened. And it wasn't that exciting. It was all right. And then it finished. And once again, both myself and Mr. Grant get a point. Yes, I am ill. Although the better than I was this morning. All right. The main card. So I picked Roman. And I'm pretty sure... No, I'd picked Corbin. Sorry. And Mr. Grant had picked Roman. Mr. Grant gets his first point ahead of me of the year. How displeasing. This match was alright. I just pray to God. I pray to God this feud is over. I'm so over this feud. Not enjoyed it. Move along. Next up, the women's battle royal. This was so it starts off with Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair. I like Bianca; she comes out swinging her hair, so that's all pretty cool stuff. And that was just really fun stuff. And then it goes along a bit, and then Lana comes out, and then a little while later, Liv Morgan comes out, and the first elimination is Lana. And I was hoping for a little bit more from Liv, but she went out. Mandy Rose came in. And there's this sort of ongoing story between Mandy Rose and Otis. And Mandy Rose gets hoofed over the top. And Otis is just sort of lay on the floor, catches her. I just thought that it properly tickled me. That I don't know why. Honestly, snot bubbles and everything. It was really funny. Chelsea Green showed up. Bianca Belair looked really strong. I thought she did, she was constantly chucking people out. I think she got the record for eliminations. Sarah Logan, I was looking forward to seeing Sarah Logan in this, her whole I'm Viking sort of thing. Didn't need bother being excited. She was in, she was out. Number 29. Santina. Oh, one thing before we talk about Santina, Beth Phoenix had been in a little while, and her blonde, she banged her head on the turnbuckle, or the ring post, sorry, and split open the back of her head, and the back of her, basically all her blonde hair was red, and it was a bloody mob, and she kept going. So she is a beast, she is a monster, and that was awesome that she didn't stop. I'm pretty sure the refs kept sort of trying to say, bleeding all over the place, and she's just like, ah. But yes, we get to 30, and Santina comes out, which is obviously Santino Marella's female alter ego, and I just don't think it's I just don't think it's something that should have been done. I think it was a bit awkward, and not offended by it, but I'm sure some people would have been offended by it. But my biggest thing is it took a spot from somebody. There's 3 rosters worth of women, and I'd rather have seen one of them take that spot. And then number 30, my pick, Shayna Baszler, and she came in and she started tossing people out left and right. I'm like, yeah, this is it. Yes, this is it. And then we get to the end, and Charlotte sort of flips her leg over and ooshes her out. And I was like, what? So, I really enjoyed the Women's Rumble, but I was not a fan of the winner. I wanted Shayna to win it. I don't want to see Charlotte versus Becky at WrestleMania. I'm sorry, I just don't want to see that match. I've seen it. I wanted to see Baszler versus Becky. That would have been cool. And then Charlotte could have fought Baszler later on. Yeah. So it left sort of a sour taste, that one, to be honest. Bayley versus Lacey Evans. Yeah. It just sort of happened. It was quite a short match, wasn't it? It was less than 10 minutes, and it wasn't that exciting. And I didn't really enjoy it. It came, it went. Obviously, they're both far talented than me, or anyone I know. They can do their thing and ply their trade. But the match didn't do anything for me. Bayley picked up the win. So Mr. Grant's still ahead by 1 rotten point. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan. So the first thing to note is they got rid of the red lights. Thank God, so we could see the match. Awesome. And it was good. The straps, good God. And he was just wailing on his back. And you see there's welts coming up, and it was not fun. Oh, for Daniel Bryan, it was interesting to watch, but it was one of those things where you watch like sort of, but yeah, fun. It went on the match for quite a while actually, and it was good. Probably the best Fiend match we've seen, because there's something about the character is fantastic with the fun house and then the Fiend coming out. But the thing with Seth and then the red lights on top of all that for a while sort of damaged it. And I think Daniel Bryan did a great job in sort of bringing back some of the cool character about the Fiend. But yeah, it was good to see the Fiend win and then vanish. And yeah, Daniel Bryan really sold it after it. And his back has been a mess. Becky Lynch versus Asuka. This was cool. I really enjoyed this match. A good back and forth, good fighting. Becky won. And I wanted Asuka to win, but Becky winning was the right result. Well, actually, Becky winning, I'd have liked... You see, because Charlotte won the Rumble, I would have been like, maybe, but then we've seen Charlotte and Asuka. So... yeah, I'm not a fan of Charlotte winning the Rumble, I'm sorry. I know some people are, and that's fine, but I'm not. But anyway, really good match. I really like the bit where Asuka loaded up the mist, and then Becky saw it coming and kicked her to the mist, went on to Asuka, and then she disarmed her. I thought that was really cool. And then, Becky picked up the win. The men's Royal Rumble match. Now, this for me, it was a match of two halves. So Brock came out, followed by Elias. And what I liked was Elias's song, "The Sacrificial Lamb." I thought that was funny, but he didn't really get into it very far until Brock sort of ran out, beat the tar out of him, and chucked it out. I thought the first half it went on, I wasn't a great fan of it. Like, Eric Rowan, oh my goodness, Eric Rowan went out, and I thought, oh, I might get to see a bit, because he's being pushed as a big monster, so we might get to see a bit of back and forth with Brock. I mean, Brock coming out on top, fine, but a bit of back and forth. No, he just sort of clotheslined him over the top rope, so bit of a waste there. Robert Roode, oops. John Morrison, I thought was harsh as John Morrison came out. Brock Lesnar was physically laughing at him. I was like, wow. And then whooshed him over the top rope. Missed a spot here. What they could have done, I wish Brock could have picked up John Morrison's sunglasses and done the pose. I think that would have been hilarious. Kofi Kingston came out. That was pretty cool, because Kofi Kingston came out and lasted more than 4 seconds and actually beat on him for a little while. And then Rey Mysterio and Big E all came out, and they all did moves on Brock. And then he Brock lobstered and got rid of them all. So he just eliminated everyone up to this point. And at this point, I thought it was starting to go on a bit. I would have liked to see something different. Then we get Cesaro came out. And I thought, ooh, Cesaro versus Brock. This could be cool. It wasn't cool. Shelton Benjamin then came out. And there was some hugging and then being tossed out. Shinsuke Nakamura. I thought, ooh, Shinsuke and Brock. This could be cool. It wasn't cool. Then MVP came out and I was like, oh, I remember him. And he's dressed like the Black Panther. Okay. No. By MVP. Then 13, Keith Lee. Now, Keith Lee's one of the guys I wanted to win. So when he came out and was alone with Brock, I was like, and we'd had, 12 people now just come out and be decimated. I was like, all right. What was funny was, one point, as Keith Lee came out, Brock like, oh, he's a big boy. I thought that again, that was really funny. And then when he got into the ring, he goes to Paul Heyman, who's this mother? Also quite funny. And there was a bit of a fight. I thought it was really cool. Keith Lee knocked Brock down, which I enjoyed. And I was enjoying that. It was a good fight. And then Braun Strowman came out. And again, things were looking a bit sketchy for Brock. He had a good fight. And it was like, then for some reason, which made them look both really dumb, Keith Lee and Braun Strowman started fighting each other. Why? That was stupid. They looked daft doing that. And Brock knocked them both out. I wanted more from Keith Lee. I really, he's probably my favourite wrestler at the moment. He's fun, he's cool, he's a bit chubby. He's awesome. I would have liked to have seen more. Then Ricochet came out. Got tossed around for a little bit. Until Drew McIntyre came out, which was cool. So Drew McIntyre's the other person I wanted to win. And that was really cool. So Drew McIntyre squared up to Brock and Brock took his gloves off. And all of a sudden Ricochet sort of oofs Brock in the nuts and Drew kicks him in the face and chucks him out. I was like, that's cool. All right, if Drew isn't winning, then getting rid of Brock, that is awesome. I'm happy with that because then they can have a match at some point. Don't care when. That will be cool. Drew McIntyre's finally getting some recognition. I was pleased. And then it went on for a little while, and we get to number 21. My God, I have to say, I whooped when you think you know me, and then the music starts. I actually whooped because there's been rumours going around, but the dude's got a knackered neck. Not for a second did I think he was going to come out. So Edge comes out and starts spearing people, and it's great. Really, really good to see Edge again. Really cool. My only thing was every time he took a bump from that point, I was like, because he was sort of lifted up and spun around, and he took the deep six, didn't he, from Baron Corbin, and you could see him sort of holding his neck before he landed. I was like, be careful. But it was cool to see him. Really, really cool. I wasn't messing around with people. The final four: Drew McIntyre, Orton, Reigns, and Edge. Who saw that coming? Really funny bit where I thought, where everyone thought that Orton was gonna RKO Edge, and Edge was like, "Oi!" And then they sort of talked, turned around to go their separate ways, and then Edge walloped him out. Then Edge went up against Roman. And we have to be honest here, Roman needs a new finishing move because everybody does the spear better than Roman. Bobby Lashley does a spear better than Roman. Edge does a spear better than Roman. Time for Roman to get a new finishing maneuver. After a bit of back and forth, Edge is out. Roman's not popular, and I was thinking, here we go. And then Drew gets to his feet, Superman punch, and he goes for the spear, and I was like, oh, here we go, it's Roman. But Drew McIntyre, Claymore kick, and no messing around, just out, throws him out straight away and wins. Drew McIntyre won, and I was like, yeah! I have never been so happy to be wrong. It was so cool. So those keeping tab, Mr. Grant won this prediction contest by 1 point. What a fine way to start the year. Like I said, we'll be missing the Saudi pay-per-view. We don't do predictions for Saudi because not until things improve, even though I now really want to get my point back. So the next pay-per-view, coming for you, Mr. Grant. But good start to the year. 1 point in it. Here we go.
Fingers on plastic.